Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. Dramatised by Edward Philips.
This is the story of a boy called Charlie Bucket. He lived with his mother and father in a small wooden house on the edge of a large town. Also in the house lived Grandpa Joe and Grandma Josephine, Mr. Bucket's father and mother, Grandpa George and Grandma Georgina, Mrs. Bucket's father and mother. The house wasn't nearly large enough for so many people, and life was extremely uncomfortable for them. There were only 2 rooms and only 1 bed. The bed was given to the 4 old grandparents because they were so old and tired. In fact, they were so old and so tired, they never ever got out of it. Mr. and Mrs. Bucket and little Charlie slept in the other room on mattresses on the floor. There wasn't any question of them being able to buy a better house or even an extra bed. They were far too poor for that. Mr. Bucket was the only person in the family with a job. He worked in a toothpaste factory where he sat all day long at a bench and screwed the little caps on the tops of the tubes of toothpaste. But a toothpaste tube cap screwer is never paid very much money, and poor Mr. Bucket was never able to make enough to buy half the things that so large a family needed. There wasn't even enough money to buy proper food. The only meals they could afford were bread and margarine for breakfast, boiled potatoes and cabbage for lunch, and cabbage soup for dinner. They all looked forward to Sundays because then, although they had exactly the same, everyone was allowed a second helping. Charlie, being a growing boy, felt it worst of all. He desperately wanted something more filling and satisfying than cabbage and cabbage soup. And the one thing he longed for more than anything else was chocolate. Only once a year on his birthday did Charlie ever get to taste a bit of chocolate. The whole family saved up their money for that special occasion, and when the great day arrived, Charlie was always presented with 1 small chocolate bar to eat, all by himself. But I haven't told you about the one awful thing that tortured little Charlie, the lover of chocolate, more than anything else. In the town itself, actually within sight of the house in which Charlie lived, there was an enormous chocolate factory. It wasn't simply an ordinary enormous chocolate factory either. It was the largest and most famous in the whole world. Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And I should know because I am Willy Wonka himself, the greatest inventor and maker of chocolates that there has ever been. The factory had huge iron gates leading into it, and a high wall surrounding it, and smoke belching from its chimneys, and strange whizzing sounds coming from deep inside it. And outside the walls, for half a mile around in every direction, the air was scented with the heavy, rich smell of chocolate. Twice a day, on his way to and from school, little Charlie had to walk right past the gates of the factory. And every time he went by, he held his nose high in the air and took long, deep sniffs of the gorgeous chocolatey smell all around him. In the evenings, after he'd finished his supper, Charlie always went into the room of his grandparents to listen to their stories. Every one of these old people was very, very old indeed. They were as shriveled as prunes and as bony as skeletons. The oldest of the 4 grandparents was Grandpa Joe. He was 96 and a half. Like all extremely old people, he was delicate and weak, and throughout the day he smoked very little. But in the evenings, when Charlie was in the room, he seemed in some marvellous way to grow quite young again. All his tiredness fell away from him, and he became as eager and excited as a young boy. Now, one evening, Charlie said,
Grandpa Joe, Is it really true that Wonka's chocolate factory is the biggest in the world?
Of course it's true. It's about 50 times as big as any other.
And is Mr. Willy Wonka really the cleverest chocolate maker in the world?
Oh, my dear boy, Mr. Willy Wonka is the most amazing, the most fantastic, the most extraordinary chocolate maker the world has ever seen. He's a magician. He can make anything. He has himself personally invented more than 200 new kinds of chocolate bars, each with a different centre. But it isn't only chocolate bars that he makes. He has some really fantastic inventions up his sleeve. Did you know that he's invented a way of making chocolate ice cream so that it stays cold for hours and hours without being in the refrigerator? You can even leave it lying in the sun all morning on a hot day and it won't go runny. He can make marshmallows that taste of violets and rich caramels that change colour every 10 seconds as you suck them, and little feathery sweets that melt away deliciously the moment you put them between your lips. He can make chewing gum that never loses its taste, and he can make lovely blue birds' eggs with black spots on them, and when you put one of these in your mouth, it gradually gets smaller and smaller, and then suddenly there's nothing left except a tiny little pink sugary baby bird sitting on the tip of your tongue.
Is all this really true, Grandpa Joe? Or are you pulling my leg?
Of course it's true. I'll tell you something else. Nobody ever goes into the factory. And nobody ever comes out.
What do you mean, Grandpa?
I mean workers, Charlie. All factories have workers streaming in and out of the gates in the mornings and evenings. Have you ever seen a single person going into that place or coming out?
Well,
Exactly.
But there must be people working there.
Not people, Charlie. Not ordinary people, anyway.
But, Grandpa, what sort of people are they then?
Oh, my dear boy, that is one of the great mysteries of the chocolate-making world. We know only one thing about them. They're very small, and nobody's ever been able to get into the factory to solve the mystery.
Hello, Father.
Have you heard the news, Charlie? It's all over town. Wonka's chocolate factory is to be open to the public. Huh? It's all here in the evening paper. Listen to this. Listen to this. Mr. Willy Wonka, the confectionery genius, sent out the following notice today. I, Willy Wonka, have decided to allow 5 children, just 5, no more, to visit my factory. Yeah. These lucky 5 will be shown around personally by me, and they will be allowed to see all the secrets and the magic of my factory. Then at the end of the tour, all of them will be given enough chocolates and sweets to last them for the rest of their lives.
The rest of the...
So watch out for the golden tickets. 5 tickets have been printed on golden paper and hidden underneath the ordinary wrapping paper of 5 bars of Wonka chocolate. These 5 chocolate bars may be anywhere, in any shop, in any street, in any town, in any country in the world. And the 5 lucky finders of these 5 golden tickets are the only ones who will be allowed to visit my factory and see what it's like inside. Good luck to you all, and happy hunting. Signed, Willy Wonka.
Charlie, wouldn't it be something to open a bar of chocolate and see a golden ticket glistening inside?
It certainly would, Grandpa. But there isn't a hope. I only get 1 bar a year.
Oh, you never know, darling. It's your birthday next week. You have as much chance as anybody else.
I'm afraid that simply isn't true. The kids who are going to find the golden tickets are the ones who can afford to buy bars of chocolate every day. There isn't a hope, I'm afraid. Not a hope in the world.
Oh, well, never mind. I wonder who'll find the first ticket.
And that is the end of the 6 o'clock news. But now, here is a special announcement. Exactly 24 hours after Mr. Willy Wonka's announcement in the press about his golden ticket scheme, the first ticket has been found. It was discovered by 9-year-old Augustus Gloop, and here in the studio tonight we have his mother. Mrs. Gloop, how do you feel about Augustus's stroke of luck?
I just knew Augustus would find a golden ticket. He eats so many bars of chocolate a day, it would be almost impossible for him not to find one. I mean, eating is his hobby, you know. That's all he's interested in. Of course, he's getting a little plump. In fact, he weighs 14 stone already. He's only 9 years old. But what I always say is he wouldn't go on eating like he does unless he needed nourishment, would he? Oh, what a thrill it will be for him to visit Mr. Wonka's marvellous factory. We're just as proud as anything.
Mr. Salter, I'm from the Daily Bulletin. Mr. Salter, now tell me, sir, for our millions of readers, how did your daughter Veruca come to find the second golden ticket?
As soon as my little girl told me that she simply had to have one of those golden tickets, I went out and started buying up all the Wonka bars I could lay my hands on. Thousands of them, I must have bought. Then I had them loaded onto trucks and sent directly to my own factory. I'm in the peanut business, and I've got about 100 women working for me, shelling peanuts for roasting and salting. OK, girls, I said, from now on, you can stop shelling peanuts and start shelling the wrappers off these chocolate bars instead. I had every worker in the place yanking the paper off those bars of chocolate full speed ahead from morning till night. But 3 days went by, and we had no luck. It was terrible. My little Veruca got more and more upset. Every time I went home, she'd scream at me, "Where's my golden ticket? I want my golden ticket." And she'd lie for hours on the floor, kicking and yelling in the most disturbing way. She's very sensitive, you know. Then suddenly, on the evening of the 4th day, one of my workers yelled, "I've got it! A golden ticket!" And I rushed home with it and gave it to my darling Veruca, and now she's all smiles and we have a happy home.
And now we bring you sensational news. 2 more of Willy Wonka's golden tickets have been found today. The 3rd ticket was found by a Miss Violet Beauregard, and here in the studio we have the lucky girl herself.
Hi there. I'm a gum chewer normally, but when I heard about these ticket things of Wonka's, I gave up gum and started on chocolate bars in the hope of striking lucky. Of course, I'm back on gum. I just adore gum. I munch it all day long, except for a few minutes at meal times when I take it out and stick it behind my ear for safekeeping. This piece of gum I'm chewing right at this moment is one I've been working on for over 3 months solid. Now, that's a world record. Before I started chewing for the record, I used to change my piece of gum once a day. I used to do it in our lift at school. I like sticking a gooey piece that I just finished with onto one of the control buttons. Then the next person who came along and pressed the button got my old gum on the end of his finger. You get the best results with women who have expensive gloves on. Oh, yes, I'm thrilled to be going to Wonka's factory, and I understand that afterwards he's going to give me enough gum to last me for the rest of my whole life.
Thank you, Violet.
Yeah.
And now to the 4th golden ticket, which was found by a boy called Mike TV. And we have Lucky Mike right here in the studio with us. How does it feel to have found the 4th golden ticket, Mike?
It feels okay. How do you think it feels, stupid? I don't know why you had to drag me away like this when I was watching TV. I was watching a film in which one bunch of gangsters was shooting up another bunch of gangsters with machine guns.
Yes.
It was terrific. I love guns. See these guns I'm wearing now? There are 18 of them, and I've got more at home. I like the gangster shows best. They're terrific. Especially when they start pumping each other full of lead, or flashing the old stilettos, or giving each other the old 1, 2, 3 with their knuckle dusters.
Quite.
Gosh, what wouldn't I give to be doing that myself?
Yes, well, thank you, Mike TV. And so we leave you now, listeners, and remember, there's only 1 golden ticket left in the whole world.
During the next 2 weeks, the weather turned very cold. First came the snow. By evening, it lay 4 feet deep around the tiny house. The 4 old folk lay silent and huddled in their bed, trying to keep the cold out of their bones. The excitement over the golden tickets had long since been forgotten. Charlie's birthday had come and gone. He had received his usual present of a bar of chocolate. But, just as everybody had expected, there was no golden ticket. As his mother said, he couldn't expect to be as lucky as all that. He couldn't really expect to find the very last golden ticket in just 1 bar of chocolate. Then one day, the toothpaste factory where Mr. Bucket worked closed down. Mr. Bucket tried to get another job, but the only one he could find was shoveling snow in the streets, and that didn't bring enough money to buy even a quarter of the food that the family needed. The situation became desperate. Breakfast was a single slice of bread for each person, and lunch was half a boiled potato. The cruel weather went on, and every day little Charlie Bucket became thinner and thinner. And then one afternoon, when he was walking back home with the icy wind in his face, his eye was suddenly caught by something silvery lying in the snow in the gutter. Part of it was buried under the snow, but he saw at once what it was. It was a 50-pence piece. Quickly, he looked around. Had somebody dropped it? There was no one in sight. Was it his then? A whole 50-pence piece? Carefully, he pulled it out of the snow. It was damp and dirty, but otherwise perfect. He held it tightly between his shivering fingers, gazing down at it. It meant one thing to him at that moment, only one thing. It meant food. He knew at once what he should do. He would buy 1 luscious bar of chocolate and eat it all up, every bit of it, right then and there. And the rest of the money he would take straight back home and give to his mother. He turned and began moving quickly towards the nearest shop.
Good afternoon to you, sir. And what can I do for you?
1 Wonka Whipple Scrumptious Fudge Mallow Delight, please.
And a very good choice, if I may say so. Well, here you are, Sonny. That'll be 5 pence, please. Oh, thank you. Oh, your change, sir.
Thank you. I think I'll eat it here, if you don't mind.
Oh, well, go right ahead, Sonny. Go right ahead. You look as if you need it. Yeah, now take it easy. It'll give you a tummy ache if you swallow it down like that without chewing. Now, you take my advice and just wait a minute. What's this? Oh, my goodness. Goodness gracious me, I don't believe it. It's a golden ticket. A golden ticket. You nearly threw it away. You've got the very last golden ticket in the whole world. Here, take it. It's yours. And be careful now. Don't tear it. That thing is precious.
Is it really a golden ticket, sir?
Well, of course it is. I just look at it glittering away there. It's the last golden ticket, and it's yours, all yours. Now you listen to me. You take that straight home as quickly as you can. Now, don't stop for anything or anybody, do you hear? Run all the way, and don't stop till you get there.
Charlie rushed out of the shop and ran all the way home through the snow just as fast as his legs would go. 5 minutes later, he burst through the front door and straight into his grandparents' room, where his mother was serving their evening soup.
Mother, look, I've got it. I've got the last golden ticket.
What are you talking about, dear?
Listen, Mother, listen. I found some money in the street, and I bought a bar of Wonka's Whipple Scrumptious Fudge Mallow Delight, and there it was, the golden ticket.
You're having a little joke.
No, Grandpa Joe, I'm not.
No, he's
Look,
absolutely
here it is.
All right, keep calm. Let me see what you've got there. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Bucket has found the very last golden ticket! He's got it! This is it!
Grandpa Joe, you're out of bed.
Joe, what are you doing? You haven't been out of this bed in 20 years. You'll do yourself a mischief.
Oh, I don't care.
What?
Charlie's found the ticket and the last golden ticket in the world. Charlie, what did it say, Charlie? Read it to us.
Yes, read it.
Greetings to you, the lucky finder of this golden ticket from Mr. Willy Wonka.
Oh, that's nice.
I invite you to come to my factory and be my guest for one whole day. I will conduct you around the factory myself, showing you everything that there is to see. And afterwards you will be escorted home by a procession of large trucks loaded with enough delicious eatables to last you and your family for the rest of your lives.
Go on.
But this is by no means the most exciting thing that will happen on the day of your visit. I am preparing other surprises that are even more marvellous and fantastic.
Yes.
The day I have chosen for the visit is the first day of February. On this day, you must come to the factory gate at 10 o'clock sharp in the morning. Don't be late. And you are allowed to bring with you one member of your family. Signed, Willy Wonka.
The first day of February. But that's tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, but you're just in time. There's not a moment to lose. You must start making preparations at once. You must get ready for the biggest day of your life.
Now, don't get overexcited, Grandpa.
You're right,
We must all try to keep very calm. The first thing to decide is who is going to go with Charlie to the factory.
I will. I'll take him. I'll look after him. You just leave it to me.
My little friends, my name is Willy Wonka, the Willy Wonka. Welcome to my factory. Will you come forward one at a time, please? Show me your golden ticket and give me your name. Who's first?
I'm Augustus Gloop, and this is my mother.
Augustus, my dear boy, how good to see you. Come in, step through the gates.
My name is Veruca Salt.
My dear Veruca, what a pleasure this is. You do have an interesting name, don't you? I always thought a Veruca was a sort of wart that you got on the sole of your foot. How pretty you look in that silver mink coat. I'm so glad you could come. How are you, Mr. Salt? Please go in. And this must be, let me see, Violet Beauregard and Mrs. Beauregard. Oh, come in, my dears, come in. And don't tell me, you must be Mike TV and Mr. TV.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, whom have we here?
Charlie Bucket, sir.
Charlie? Well. So there you are. You're the one who found your ticket only yesterday, aren't you? Just in time, my dear boy. I'm so glad. And this must be your grandfather. Delighted to meet you, sir. All right. Is everybody in?
Yes,
Good. Now, will you please follow me? Our tour is about to begin. Here we are. Through this big red door, please.
Grandpa, what a long corridor. And it's so wide. You could drive a car along it.
Oh, yes, and what a marvellous smell. Why, there's roasting coffee and burnt sugar.
And melting chocolate and mints and violets.
And crushed hazelnuts and apple blossom.
And caramel and lemon peel.
This place is like a rabbit warren. Oh, look, there are passages and corridors everywhere. Don't you let go my hand, Charlie, will you?
Now, here we are at our first stop. The chocolate room. This is the nerve centre of the whole factory, the heart of the whole business.
Grandpa, it's a valley with green meadows. And a river, a great brown river flowing through it. And a brown waterfall, and trees and bushes.
And just look at those enormous glass pipes hanging over the river and leading up to the roof. They're sucking up the brown river.
What you see now is my chocolate river. Every drop of that river is hot, melted chocolate of the very finest quality. There's enough chocolate in there to fill every bathtub in the entire country. And you see those pipes? They suck up the chocolate and carry it away to all the other rooms in the factory where it's needed. Thousands of gallons an hour. That waterfall is most important. It mixes the chocolate, it churns it up, it makes it light and frothy. No other factory in the world mixes its chocolate by waterfall. But it's the only way to do it properly. And do you like my trees? My lovely bushes? They're all eatable, you know.
What?
All made of something different and delicious. and what do you think of my grass and my buttercup? The grass you are standing on is made of a new kind of soft, minty sugar that I've just invented. Try a blade. It's delectable. Try a buttercup. That's even nicer.
Let me try. My goodness, what's that over there? It's a little person. A little man. It's moving. He's walking.
She's right, Grandpa. It is a little man. Can you see him?
I see him, Charlie. He's no bigger than a doll.
There's two of them.
There's a whole crowd of them.
What are they doing? Who are they?
They can't be real people.
Of course they're real people. They're Oompa Loompas, imported direct from Loompa-land.
There's no such place.
I can assure you, my dear lady, there is.
Mr. Wonka, I am a teacher of geography.
Then you'll know all about it, won't you? I went out there personally, and I found the Oompa Loompas living on a diet of green caterpillars. They spend all their time looking for other things to mash up with the caterpillars to make them taste better. The one thing they longed for more than any other was the cacao bean, but they couldn't get it. An Oompa Loompa was lucky if he found 3 or 4 cacao beans a year. Now the cacao bean happens to be the thing from which all chocolate is made. So, as soon as I discovered that the Oompa Loompas were crazy about this particular food, I said to their leader, if your people will come back to my country and work in my factory, you can have all the cacao beans you want. I've got mountains of them in my storehouses. You can have cacao beans for every meal. You really mean it, he said, and he gave a great whoop of joy and threw his bowl of mashed caterpillars right out of the window. It's a deal, he cried. So I shipped them all over here, every man, woman and child in the Oompa Loompa tribe.
Daddy, I want an Oompa Loompa. I want an Oompa Loompa right away. Go on, Daddy. Get me an Oompa Loompa now.
No, my pet, we mustn't interrupt Mr. Wonka.
I want an Oompa Loompa.
All right, Veruca, all right. But I can't get it for you this second. Please, be patient.
But, Daddy...
Augustus! Oh, what are you doing? Come away from the chocolate river. I don't think you'd better do that, sweetheart.
Please, Augustus, don't drink the chocolate. My chocolate must be untouched by human hands.
Oh, this stuff is fabulous. Gosh, I need a bucket to drink it properly.
Augustus, you must stop that at once.
Augustus, didn't you hear what the man said? You're leaning too far over the river. If you're not careful, you'll...
Help! Help! Save me!
Oh, save me! He can't swim himself! He can't swim, he'll drown!
Fish me, somebody! Quick!
Oh, just stand there, do something!
It's too late. Look, he's being sucked closer and closer towards the mouth of that pipe.
My goodness me.
It's got him. He's being sucked up.
There he goes. He's shooting up the pipe, head first like a torpedo.
Augustus, come back at once! Where are you going?
It's a wonder to me how that pipe is big enough for him to go through it.
It isn't. Look, he's slowing down.
Oh, my golly, he's stuck. He's blocked the whole pipe.
Oh, Augustus! Come out of there at once!
The chocolate's building up behind him in a solid mass. The pressure must be terrific. Something's got to give.
It's disappeared. Quick! Call the fire brigade! Where does that pipe lead to?
Keep calm, my dear lady, keep calm. There is no danger whatsoever. Augustus has got on a little journey, that's all. He'll come out of it just fine. Just wait and see.
How can he possibly come out just fine? He'll be made into marshmallows in 5 seconds.
Impossible.
Why is it impossible?
Because that pipe doesn't go anywhere near the marshmallow room. It leads directly to the strawberry-flavoured chocolate-coated fudge room.
Oh, my poor Augustus. Oh, they'll be selling him by the pound all over the country tomorrow morning.
Never. I wouldn't allow it. The taste would be terrible. I do promise you, madam, that your darling boy is perfectly safe.
Well, he's perfectly safe. Then where is he? Lead me to him this instant.
If you insist.
Yes, Mr. Wonka, what is it? Grandpa, look! It's an Oompa Loompa! A real live Oompa Loompa! Isn't he tiny?
Now, listen carefully. I want you to take Mrs. Gloop up to the fudge room and help her find her son. He's just got up the pipe. All right. Control yourselves. When you get to the fudge room, take a long stick and start poking around inside the big chocolate mixing barrel. And you'll have to hurry. If you leave him the barrel too long, he's liable to get poured out into the fudge boiler. And that really would be a disaster. Goodbye, Mrs. Gloop. I'll see you later.
Yes.
And now, we really must hurry along. Follow, please.
What a lot of doors, Grandpa. What does it say on that one?
Storeroom number 54, all the creams. Dairy cream, whipped cream, violet cream, coffee cream, and vanilla cream.
There's another door. Storeroom number 71. Whips, all shapes and sizes. Whips? What on earth do you use whips for?
For whipping cream, of course. How can you whip cream without whips? Whipped cream isn't whipped cream at all unless it's been whipped with whips.
There's another door. Storeroom number 77. All the beans. Cacao beans, coffee beans, jelly beans, and has-beens.
Has-beens?
Be careful you don't turn into one yourself. And now, here we are. The inventing room. The most important room in the entire factory. All my most secret new inventions are cooking and simmering in here. Come on, and remember, don't touch and don't knock anything over. Now, come over here and take a look at this machine.
What are they?
Everlasting gobstoppers.
Gobstoppers?
Completely new. You can put an everlasting gobstopper in your mouth and you can suck it and it will never get any smaller. Now, over here, if you will all step this way, I will show you something that I'm terrifically proud of. You will notice that there are hundreds and hundreds of thin glass tubes sprouting out of this machine and curling downwards over this big round tub. Yes. Now, if I just press this button here, you will see here that runny stuff is pouring down the inside of all the glass tubes and squirting into the tub below.
Oh, each one is a different colour. All the colours of the rainbow.
Exactly, Charlie. And now that the tub is full of the runny stuff, I will press this button to cut off the supply. And then, if I press this button here, down comes the giant whizzer. You will see that the giant whizzer is mixing up all the different coloured liquids like an ice cream soda.
It's starting to froth. It's changing colour.
Oh, yeah.
Blue,
Yes.
white,
Yeah.
green, brown,
Now,
yellow.
watch this.
It's all going back into the machine.
Good heavens.
By gum!
It's gum! It's a stick of chewing gum! Yes.
Oh, right you are, it's a stick of gum.
Oh.
It's a stick of the most amazing, fabulous and sensational chewing gum in the world.
Oh.
This is my latest, greatest and most fascinating invention. It's a chewing gum meal. That tiny little strip of gum lying there is a whole 3-course dinner all by itself. You can have almost anything you want, but this piece of gum I've just made happens to be tomato soup, roast beef, and blueberry pie. And if you were to start chewing it, that is exactly what you would get on the menu. It's absolutely amazing. You can taste it perfectly. It fills you up. It satisfies you.
It's impossible.
Oh, just so long as it's a piece of gum and I can chew it, then that's me. Hand it over and we'll see if it works.
Now, Violet, don't let's do anything silly.
I would rather you didn't take it. You see, I haven't got it quite right yet. There are still 1 or 2 things that...
to blazes with that, just give it here.
No, don't touch
Violet,
it.
don't!
It's fabulous. It's tomato soup. It's hot and creamy and delicious. Oh, I can feel it running down my throat.
Please stop. It is not ready yet.
Oh, it's working beautifully. Oh, my, what lovely soup this is.
Spit it out.
It's changing. Second course is coming up. It's roast beef. Tender and juicy, oh, boy. Oh, what a flavour. Oh, yeah, the baked potatoes, marvellous too. It's got a crispy skin and it's all filled with butter inside.
It isn't ready for eating. You mustn't do it.
Ooh, blueberry pie.
Oh,
creamy. Here it comes. Oh, my, it's perfect. Oh, it's beautiful. It's as though I'm swallowing great big spoonfuls of the most marvellous blueberry pie in the world.
Good heavens, girl! What's happening to you? Your nose! It's turning blue as a blueberry.
Spit that gum out at once.
Your whole face is turning blue. Oh. The girl's going blue and purple all over. Violet! You're turning violet.
I told you I hadn't got it quite right. It always goes wrong when it comes to the dessert. It's the blueberry pie that does it.
Violet, you're swelling up.
I feel sick.
Great heavens, girl! You're blowing up like a balloon.
Or like a blueberry.
It always happens like that. I've tried it 20 times in the testing room on 20 Oompa Loompas, and every one of them finishes up as a blueberry. It's most annoying. I just can't understand it.
But I don't want a blueberry for a daughter. Put her back to what she was this instant.
Well, I'll do my best.
Yes, Mr. Wonka.
Take Miss Beauregard along to the juicing room at once.
Take her away.
The juicing room? What are they going to do to her there?
De-juice her. We've got to squeeze the juice out of her immediately. After that, we'll just have to see how she comes out. I'm sorry about it all. I really am.
Wait for me! Violet!
Well. I think we'd better get along before we lose anyone else. Now, hurry up, through this door. Do you see what the sign says?
Square sweets that look round.
I'm very proud of these. Let's take a peek. There you are. Square sweets that look round. As you see, they look very much like square sugar lumps, except that each of them has a funny little pink face painted on one side. That's what all these Oompa Loompas in here are doing, painting the face on every sweet.
They don't look round to me.
They look square, completely square.
They are square. I never said they weren't.
You said they were round.
I never said anything of the sort. I said they looked round.
But they don't look round. They look square.
They look round.
They most certainly do not look round.
Veruca, my darling, pay no attention to Mr. Wonka. He's lying to you.
My dear old sourpuss, I am not lying. Just watch this.
Oh, Grandpa, look. All the little sweets are looking round to see where the whistling noise is coming from.
There you are. They're looking round. There's no argument about it. They're square sweets that look round.
Oh, by golly, he's right.
Now, come on, we mustn't dawdle. And off we go. Never mind that door. We can't stop there.
The butterscotch and butter gin.
Yes, glorious stuff. The Oompa Loompas adore it. It makes them tiddly. But follow me, please. We've got a lot to get through. Here, we are at our next stop, the nut room. Take a peek through the glass panel of this door. But whatever you do, don't go into the nut room. If you do, you'll disturb the squirrels.
Squirrels?
Those squirrels are specially trained for getting the nuts out of walnuts. Nobody except squirrels can get walnuts whole out of walnut shells every time. It's extremely difficult. See how they first tap each nut to be sure it's not bad. If it's bad, it makes a hollow sound, and they don't bother to open it. They just throw it down the rubbish chute. Now, just watch that squirrel near the door. I think he's got a bad one now. Yes, it's a bad one, all right. He's thrown it down the chute.
Daddy, I want a squirrel. Get me one of those squirrels.
Don't be silly, sweetheart. They all belong to Mr. Wonka.
I don't care about that. I want one. I want a squirrel.
All right, my pet. Daddy'll get you a squirrel just as soon as he possibly can.
But I don't want any old squirrel. I want a trained squirrel.
Oh, very well. Wonka, how much do you want for one of those squirrels? Name your price.
They're not for sale. She can't have one.
Who says I can't? I'm going in to get myself one this very moment.
I shouldn't do that if I were you.
Try and stop me. I think I'll have this one. Gotcha.
Wonka? What are they doing to her?
They're testing her to see if she's a bad nut. Just watch. Oh, my goodness me, I think she is a bad nut. Her head must have sounded quite hollow.
In heaven's name, where are they taking her now?
To the rubbish chute, of course. Where else? She's going. Where all the other bad nuts go.
What? Where does that chute lead to?
It runs directly into the great big main rubbish pipe, which carries away all the rubbish from every part of the factory.
But where does the main pipe go to?
To the furnace, of course. The big incinerator. Oh, don't worry. There's always a chance they've decided not to light it today.
A chance?
Well, a slim one.
Oh, my poor Veruca. She'll be sizzled like a sausage.
No, I expect she'll be all right. She may not even have gone down at all. She may be stuck in the chute, just below the entrance hole. If that's the case, all you have to do is go in and pull her up again.
Veruca! Veruca, my pet, Daddy's coming! Veruca! Are you down there?
Don't lean over too far, Mr. Salt.
Veruca, can you hear me? This is Daddy! Veruca!
What on earth's going to happen to them now, Mr. Wonka?
I expect someone will catch them at the bottom of the chute. Shall we move on?
My feet are getting tired. I want to watch television.
If you're tired, we better take the elevator. It's over here. Come on. Here we are. In we go. And now then, which button shall we press first? Take your pick.
There are buttons everywhere, all over the walls and even on the ceiling. Thousands of them, and all labelled.
This isn't just an ordinary up-and-down elevator. As you can see, it's made entirely of glass. Walls, doors, ceilings, floor, everything. It can go sideways and long ways and slantways and any other way you can think of. It can visit any single room in the whole factory, no matter where it is. You simply press the button and zing, you're off. Now, choose a button.
Let's see now. Coconut ice skating rink.
Strawberry juice water pistols.
Invisible chocolate bars for eating in class.
Exploding sweets for your enemies. Super.
Fizzy lemonade swimming pool.
Isn't there a television room in all this lot?
Certainly there's a television room. That button over there marked television chocolate.
Television? Whoopee! That's for me. Here we go.
Grandpa, We're going sideways.
Yes, and now we're going round a corner.
Everybody, grab a strap quickly now. The journey is not over yet.
We're going up, Grandpa. It's just like going up a very steep hill.
Going down. Hang on tight, everybody.
It's just like going over the edge of a precipice.
Here we go.
Make this thing stop!
Can't do that. It won't stop till we get there. I only hope no one's using the other lift.
What other lift?
The one that goes the opposite way on the same track as this one.
Holy mackerel! You mean we might have a collision?
We've always been lucky so far. Here we are, the television chocolate room. Now then, you will see at the end of this room an enormous television camera.
Super!
At the other end of the room, there is a television set. This is the testing room for my very latest, greatest invention, television chocolate. But first of all, do you know how ordinary television works? It's very simple. At one end, where the picture is being taken, you have a large camera and you start photographing something. The photographs are then split up into millions of tiny little pieces, which are so small that you can't see them. And these little pieces are shot out into the sky by electricity. They go whizzing around all over the place until suddenly they hit the antenna on the roof of somebody's house. Then they go flashing down the wire that leads into the back of the television set, and in there they get jiggled around until at last every single one of these millions of tiny pieces is fitted back into its right place, and presto, the photograph appears on the screen. Now, the very first time I saw television working, I thought, if these people can break up a photograph into millions of pieces and send them whizzing through the air and then put them together again at the other end, why can't I do the same with a bar of chocolate? Why can't I send a real bar of chocolate whizzing through the air in tiny pieces and then put the pieces together at the other end, all ready to be eaten?
Impossible.
You think so? Well, watch this. I shall now send a bar of my very best chocolate from one end of this room to the other by television. Get ready there. Bring in the chocolate.
Grandpa, what an enormous bar of chocolate. It's about as big as a mattress.
It has to be as big as that because whenever you send something by television, it always comes out much smaller than it was when it went in. Now, here we go. Switch on.
Oh, Charlie, the chocolate bar, it's gone.
It's disappeared completely into thin air.
It's on its way. It's now rushing through the air above our heads in a million tiny pieces. Now, watch the screen. Here it comes. Look.
It's a bar of chocolate. There, on the television screen. It's come through.
Take it, Charlie. Reach out and grab it.
I've got it.
Eat it. Go on, eat it. It'll be delicious. It's the same bar. It's got smaller on the journey, that's all.
This is absolutely fantastic. It's a miracle.
Just imagine when I start using this across the country. You'll be sitting at home watching the television, and suddenly a commercial will flash on the screen, and a voice will say, "Eat Wonka's chocolate. It's the best in the world. If you don't believe me, try one for yourself now." And you simply reach out and take one. How about that, eh?
Oh, that's terrific. It will change the world.
Mr. Wonka, could you send a real live person from one place to another in the same way?
A person? Oh, good heavens, child, I really don't know. I suppose I could, yes. I wouldn't like to risk it, though. It might have some very nasty side effects. You see, hey, where are you going? Get away from that camera.
Yippee! I'm going to be the first person in the world to be sent by television.
Don't touch that camera. It's dangerous.
Mike, come back. You'll be turned into a million tiny pieces.
See you later, alligator.
Mike, where are you? Great heavens, he's gone. He's whizzing around above our heads in a million tiny pieces.
Quick. Watch the television screen. He may come through at any moment. And then again, he may not.
Well, he's taking a heck of a long time.
Patience, my dear sir, patience. He's a little more complicated than a bar of chocolate. Wait a moment. There's something coming through. There, see it? By golly, I believe it's him. It's him. It's worked.
Is he all in one piece?
Yes, I think so.
But he's a midget. He's only 2 inches tall. Mike, are you all right?
Hi, Pop. Look at me. I'm on TV.
Grab him, quick. Go on, grab him.
Got him.
Hey, Pop. Isn't this super?
Wonderful. He's completely unharmed.
You call this unharmed? He's shrunk.
Well, of course he's shrunk. What did you expect? You saw what happened to a bar of chocolate.
But this is terrible. I can't send him back to school like this. They won't even notice him. You've got to make him the same size as he was before.
Well, that might be a bit tricky. I'll tell you what. We'll put him in a special machine I have for testing the stretchiness of chewing gum. Maybe that will bring him back to what he was.
Well, how far do you think he'll stretch?
Oh, maybe miles. Who knows? But he's going to be awfully thin. Everything gets thinner when you stretch it.
You mean like chewing gum?
Exactly.
How thin will he be?
I haven't the foggiest idea.
Yes.
Take this midget, this boy, to the stretching room and put him in the chewing gum testing machine. You better go too, Mr. TV.
Yes.
Please don't look so worried. They all come out in the wash, you know. Now then, into the elevator. We must get going. How many children have we left now?
There's only Charlie left now, Mr. Wonka.
But my dear boy, that means you've won. Oh, I do congratulate you. I'm absolutely delighted. I had a hunch, you know, right from the beginning, that it was going to be you. Well, there's even less time now to lose than there was before. But luckily for us, we have the great glass elevator to speed things up. Jump in, my dear Charlie. Jump in. And you too, Grandpa Joe, sir. Now then, this time, I shall choose the button we're going to press. Yes. This one, I think.
Up and out? What sort of room is that?
No time to argue. Hold on. Here we go. Faster. If we don't get any faster, we shall never get through.
Through what?
Through the roof, of course. Hold tight. We are going through. No, we're not going through. We're out. We've gone right through the roof of the factory. And I've always wanted to do that. Oh, just look. We must be at least 500 feet up already.
You've gone mad.
Have no fears, my dear sir. I'll just press this button here and there.
We're floating. Look, there's the factory. And there's the whole town down below us like a picture postcard. What an eerie feeling, standing on this glass floor. It makes you feel that you aren't standing on anything at all.
Well, are we all right? How does this thing stay up?
Sugar power. 1 million sugar power. Oh, look down there. There go the other children. They're returning home. Oh, we must go down and take a look at our little friends before we do anything else. Hold tight. There they are, just inside the factory gates. There's our friend Augustus Gloop.
Oh, he's changed. He used to be fat. Now he's as thin as a straw.
Of course he's changed. He's got squeezed into a pipe, don't you remember? And look, there goes Violet Beauregard, that great gum chewer. It seems as though they managed to deduce her after all.
But she's purple. She's purple all over.
So she is. Ah, well, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do about that.
Good gracious. Look at poor Veruca Salt and Mr. Salt. They're covered all over in rubbish.
And there's Mike TV. He's about 10 feet tall and as thin as a wire. Oh, they must have overstretched him on the gum stretching machine. How very careless.
How dreadful for him.
Nonsense, he's very lucky. Every basketball team in the country will be trying to sign him up. But now I have something very important to talk to you about, my dear Charlie. You see, my boy, I have decided to make you a present of my chocolate factory. As soon as you are old enough to run it, The entire factory will become yours.
You must be joking.
I am not joking, sir. I am deadly serious. I'm an old man, much older than you think. I can't go on forever. I have no children of my own, no family at all. So who's going to run the factory when I get too old to do it myself? Someone's got to keep it going, if only for the sake of the Oompa Loompas. Mind you, there are thousands of clever men who would give anything for the chance to come in and take over from me. But I don't want that sort of person. I don't want a grown-up person at all. A grown-up won't listen to me. He won't learn. He'll try to do things his own way. So I have to have a child. I want a good, sensible, loving child, one to whom I can tell all the most precious, sweet-making secrets while I'm still alive.
So that's why you sent out the golden ticket?
Exactly. I decided to invite 5 children to the factory, and the one I liked the best at the end of the day would be the winner. And Charlie, you won. Now, we must go at once and fetch the rest of the family, Charlie's father and mother and anyone else that's around. They can all live in the factory from now on. They can all help to run it until Charlie is old enough to do it by himself. Where do you live, Charlie?
It's over there, that little cottage right on the edge of the town. The tiny little one.
I see it. Hold tight. Here we go.
I'm afraid my mother won't be able to come with us.
Why not?
Because she won't leave Grandma Josephine and Grandpa George and Grandma Georgina.
But they must come too.
They can't. They're very old and they haven't been out of bed for 20 years.
Then we'll take the bed along as well, with them in it. There's plenty of room in this lift for a bed. Here we are. That's your house down there, isn't it?
Yes, but how are we going to get in?
Through the roof, of course. What other way is there? Hold tight!
Mr. Wonka, no!
My dear wife, it's only us.
Mother, it's us. We're all going back to live in Mr. Wonka's factory, and we're going to help him run it. And he's given it all to me. And
what are you talking about, Charlie?
Just look at our house. It's in ruins.
My dear sir, I'm so very glad to meet you. You mustn't worry about your house. From now on, you're never going to need it again.
Who is this crazy man?
This is Mr. Willy Wonka himself.
How do you do?
He's bonkers.
Please don't be frightened, Grandma. I'll explain everything on the way.
Come along, Charlie, and you, Grandpa Joe, and you, sir. Don't just stand around chattering. Get this bed into the elevator. Quick as you can now. There's no time to lose.
Hang on tight, everybody. Here we go.
Push it this way.
Ways a time never knew it was so heavy.
I can't stand it.
Where are we going? What's going on?
Quiet, please stand clear of the gates. And away we go!
Charlie, this place we're going to, will there be anything to eat when we get there?
Anything to eat? You wait and see, Grandma. Just you wait and see.